Hello, I'm David Morris. I'm Group Compliance Manager at Debitsuccess, and today I'm joined by Roger Greyling of securityassessment.com, and we're here to discuss PCI DSS. Hi Roger, welcome.
Thank you very much.
First of all, perhaps you could just explain what PCI DSS is and what your and your organisation's role is with the standard.
PCI DSS stands for the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, and this is a standard which we deal with on a daily basis at Security Assessment. Security Assessment is a division of Dimension Data, and we provide security assurance and advisory services to a large number of organisations throughout the Asia-Pacific region. The PCI DSS is a globally recognised security standard which was created collaboratively by 5 of the major credit card companies. And this was in response to the increasing levels of credit card fraud. So they decided to tackle this together and introduce controls which organisations can adhere to reduce these levels of fraud. So this standard will apply to any organisation that stores, processes or transmits cardholder information or credit card data.
And how serious or how large is the credit card fraud problem, and particularly perhaps if we could discuss with regards to New Zealand and Australia?
Well, New Zealand and Australia, in comparison to the UK and US, tend to be lagging behind in terms of their compliance with this standard, and therefore we've probably seen an increase in the levels of fraud. Of course, the fraud that we know about is only those frauds that are reported. As yet, there is no legislation in this region which requires organisations to report any breaches. In the UK and the US, there are data breach disclosure laws requiring organisations to report any breach.
And I suppose people can imagine what the internal threats are to an organisation, but perhaps in terms of the hacker, the famous hacker that's been exploring the world for the last couple of years, well, what are the risks that businesses are exposed to there?
Well, this happens more than people realise. So there are quite a lot of individuals out there, hackers, who try to break into systems. So wherever they can find a weak point, they will try and exploit that. So if you've got some information that they want, they will find a way to get hold of it. And the risk is that if the rest of the world is adhering to standards which make them compliant and more secure against hackers, this leaves other regions of the world, for example, Australasian region, more soft targets. So there needs to be more of a focus in this region on coming up to par with the rest of the world.
And how could your organisation assist with that? So giving organisations assurance that the risk is minimal?
So the PCI standard is really a baseline security standard, and there's nothing in there that should be of any surprise to any IT manager or security manager. It's general common sense that should be adhered to if you are handling credit card information. If you apply all of the controls that are specified, you will definitely reduce your risk to being exposed to a data breach from any would-be hacker out there.
Having gone through the PCI experience ourselves at Debitsuccess, obtaining level 1 compliance, the highest level of compliance to the most recent standard, and we undertook that ethical hacking by our organisation, both internal and external penetration testing, and perhaps that was the most enlightening experience of PCI, because obviously we haven't got the mind of the hacker, and certainly
not many people do.
No, thankfully. And perhaps could you add any comment to how you felt the Debitsuccess infrastructure coped with that?
Yeah, in terms of the network, the guys were quite surprised to find that the Debitsuccess network was pretty secure. Obviously there can be improvements in any network, but it was really one of the stronger networks that they've come across, and they generally get quite upset if they can't break anything to any large degree. So it was an interesting experience for them. So yeah,
it was certainly a scary experience for us, really, but very valuable, probably, as I say, the most valuable part. Working with yourselves at Debitsuccess obviously really did speed the process up. We managed to crack level 1 within 7 months. Which was fantastic, and we really thank you for your input on that. You were very professional to work with and very helpful.
Yeah, that's a good effort. It takes a lot of other organisations quite a lot longer than that small amount of time, so yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And the core focus for us was your suggestion regarding segmentation, where we reduced the exposure of credit card numbers down to the minimal possible number of people, So as you know, we have a very small environment with a very small number of staff, and they are the only staff that are exposed to that data, and they are monitored 24/7. All the IT auditing is there to monitor exactly what they do at any moment in time. And that really did assist us reducing the scope down of the PCI and credit card exposure, and therefore we managed to get through in a rapid period of time. And we're very confident that we have a very secure environment.
Yeah, so the standard's not about trying to say that you can't store any of the data. It's just about if you are storing it or processing it, that you do it in a correct manner and that it's secured appropriately. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And how do you see that the industry will move forward, both in terms of those organisations that require compliance and from your point of view as an assessor? Do you see that the standard is going to become more familiar to organisations?
Well, the standard has been around since 2004 and is slowly filtering through that it's a requirement to be compliant. So anyone who does store, process or transmit does need to be compliant. Your degree of compliance that you need to adhere to will depend on the amount of transactions that you process, and the financial institutions will be focusing on those organisations that present the most risk.
Okay.
There really needs to be more of a unified approach from some of the financial institutions working together with some of these larger organisations if this region is going to be regarded as being more secure in terms of the worldwide platform. So, yeah.
Okay. It's an interesting message. Thank you. And thank you again for your time today. Thanks, Roger.